What's up, guys? This is my friend Johnny Tran.
What's going on, guys?
And Johnny, please tell them. You can start with telling them how we met or how we know each other.
I know Quang because he is he was a good friend of my older brother, Danny. They met in college, and then this was his best man at the wedding. And yeah, we've reestablished a friendship over time. I think in Orange County.
Do you remember like when we first met or not really?
I remember it was in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
I can't. Yeah, I remember us just playing games and like drinking and like you guys coming over.
It was so hard to pinpoint like one day.
It was just like a night where you guys came over and we were drinking and we played board games at the house. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I met like out of you guys. I think I met Lena first, but I think she just barely got out of high school. She was like 18 with red hair or pink hair.
Yeah.
But that was like me going to Modesto for something. I think I may have met you guys shortly after that.
Yeah. I believe that was around the same time. We were still like meeting a lot of the new friends that, now that I look back, I've known for the last 10 years, seen over time within, for a year and a half or something like that.
And
Yeah.
how's it adjusting to, like, you're originally from Modesto, but you have recently moved to OC, but I don't know how recent or how long ago. At least a year.
Oh, dude, it's been a long time, bro. No, I'm born and raised Modesto, California. Went to San Jose State from 2010 to 2014. Moved down to LA, lived there for 5 years. And then now I'm on my third year, finishing up my third year in Santa Ana, Orange County.
Third year of what? Living or school or something? Or?
No, third year of living here in Orange County.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just hit my 3 year mark actually, like a couple days ago. So been in SoCal for the better part of 7 years or 7 or 8 years.
Because what did you study at San Jose?
I studied healthcare administration, so it was a BS in healthcare administration.
What is that? I don't
It's
know
like
what that is.
it's really, if I had to coin it in 2 words, hospital business. You're talking about you take a lot of business classes in compliance or that coincides with also healthcare businesses as well. So you're talking about pharmaceutical companies, talk about managing insurance companies and Medicare and knowing the ins and outs of like how the the medical industry makes money.
Is that what you wanted to do, or you just landed on that?
I never wanted to become a doctor for sure. That's just like was never something that was not an attractive idea to me. Even though I wanted to work in the healthcare field, and I knew that there would be other opportunities that could potentially make me, just as much money, if not more money, without as much schooling.
Okay. How'd you move in with those guys in LA? You must have convinced a group of guys to move there, or you met them there.
They were actually friends from Modesto, California. So yeah, a lot of my close friends that I still talk to, or a lot of them are from Modesto, are still from my hometown, and I visit my hometown pretty often. And, I don't see everyone I know there, but I see a lot of people from time to time. And so I think after college, I knew I wanted to come out to Southern California because I wanted to experience the other half of California, and I think that definitely helped me helped me experience a lot of different things at the same time. Yeah.
So you were born and raised in Modesto.
Yeah, born and raised.
So like
yeah.
18 years there, and then San Jose, and then okay. Because you must have convinced like
Yeah.
five or four.
No, it was
guys
it was just me and 2 other guys. We eventually settled. What actually happened was I stayed at my friend's place for about 5 days while I looked up for a room on Craigslist. I only had like a couple $1,000s on me, and I was like, if I can't make it here in 3 months, I'm just gonna fucking move back home to Modesto. So I just I had this like little bit of money, and I was like, if I can't find a job in the next 3 months, I'm gonna go home. And so I found a room. Yeah, so I found a room on Craigslist for like $600-700. I can't remember how much it was. I think it was $700 a month for just like a room in like a random place on northeast LA, like South Pasadena almost.
Was it the place where you lived next to the old black lady?
No. That was the next house that I would eventually move into about 6 months later. I of course ended up finding a job, working in clinical research for a long stint. But then at that time, we moved into a house in East LA, and we lived there for about 5 years, or I honestly sometimes I forget 4 or 5 years.
You
Yeah.
three? Is he you three?
Just us three for a while. We upgraded houses in Midway, but the house that we lived at was old school. Very like classic architecture style. Like it was a little
It was
different.
an old LA home.
It was very, very old LA home, and then the next one that I went to was like a fully, remodeled one. It had a really nice, it was very modernized. So
Who's else? I remember Johnny Taz, one of them. The other guy is.
my other friend Ashton, yeah.
Have I met him?
Yeah, he's at the bonfire on Saturday. So
Is he the tall guy? Like.
yeah. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I've been out here for a while, and I still live with a couple friends, and now I still live with some friends as well. So.
But you went from LA to like Orange County. Did you work down here? Is that why?
No, I mean, honestly, for a long time, I was kind of just kind of going with the flow and wherever it took me. And at that time, it took me to Orange County because I was going through a job transition at the time. And so things just kind of like moved, and I decided, this would be a good opportunity as well to experience a different side of, Southern California that is very much, very, very different from Los Angeles County, I believe, for sure.
Do you watch like a lot of TV shows?
Yeah. I fucking love, Game of Thrones and, a whole bunch of other, I probably watch too much TV, if anything. Yeah.
Okay, because you get to live in LA County and Orange County,
Uh-huh.
and the show that just came out recently was like Selling OC, which is kind of like a spin-off of is it Selling Sunset?
Yeah, Selling Sunset.
Selling Sunset, that's the Beverly Hills one? Yeah,
But-
so like, and I assume everyone that watched these two shows assume like OC is this show, but I mean that might be like top 1% of like highlight, but I don't.
I mean, that's the same thing with Beverly Hills, like LA, we already know has a lot of different neighborhoods, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like homeless issues
Yeah.
and like
Yeah, big
Downtown.
homeless population, or homeless population out there. Yeah, but no, I've had a good time just living in OC. It's still fast paced, but it's still but you can slow it down a little bit, especially compared to LA. There's a lot more parking.
tell me some crazy Modesto stories.
I don't know, man. What do you want to hear, man?
All right, let's see, let's go about
Let me tell you guys how I got wrapped into doing this podcast.
Okay.
I'm just at home eating dinner. He was gonna pick up a spatula, something he left at a barbecue, and then he's like, "All right, you want to do a podcast?" And then now we're doing a podcast. That's how it happened. So, just to show you guys, you just gotta be ready when people ask.
We will get into some really good. I thought some interesting conversation to myself at least.
Uh-huh.
But like, oh man, let's capture this opportunity. But hopefully this camera and these microphones don't like put too much pressure.
No, it's
on
fine,
to-
dude. Johnny's Tran's always on fucking Showtime, dude. He's always ready for the
Johnny
camera.
Tran.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Because I don't know much about Modesto, but I know it's kind of like the same area as like, roughly the same area as like Fresno / Stockton. That's the two biggest
Yeah,
cities
it's Central
in your
Valley.
area.
Yeah. It's at Central Valley.
And when I think of you guys, I think of like, all right, everybody must be like the Nate Diaz brothers, Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz.
No, dude, I'm not out here slapping people, but I will. Don't. I will. No, but
But like, I'm sure like that just living in that type of environment, you're like, I'm sure you've been in one high school fight, middle school fight. Let's hear about it. Was it over a girl or I don't know, over her territory or?
have I ever been in a fight? I got suspended for being in a fight when I was a kid because some kid kicked me and then I kicked him in the nuts in like first grade, and then I got in trouble for that one.
There's no rules to like street fights. Like
Yeah.
when you ask, like I see a lot of like MMA fighters when people ask them like, oh, what do I do in a street fight, and they all say kick him in the nuts, kick him in the dick.
Yeah.
There's no rules, so you're not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
They don't.
I've been in a I wouldn't say I've been in any like major fights, but I've been in like scuffles and skirmishes. Things happen when people get all amped up, and if you go out regularly, or if you are someone who like put yourself in public, right, while you're like going out and drinking and doing other things, there will eventually come a time where you run into someone that does not want to run into you, right? And then something escalates or whatever. But
Just two drunk people. Just,
yeah, two
crossing
drunk people
paths.
that are pissed off for whatever reason. They got all that depression that they've been bottling it up, dude, and all they want to do is drink. Yep, you go out and two people are having a bad night. One of them's gonna have a worse night. So yeah. So
like when you watch an MMA fight, like yes, there is technically a winner,
Mm-hmm.
but 2 people will go to a hospital to get checked out. People, even if you win, you go to the hospital to get checked out.
Yeah.
But
I was in one. I was in one brawl once upon a time because somebody was starting to fight with my friend, and I wasn't actually in the brawl. It wasn't that crazy, but like we did have like an interaction where two main people were fighting, and then like people were pushing and shoving, and it was getting kind of crazy, and we eventually like split off. But it was like a 60-second interaction kind of thing.
you can always feel it you can feel it in the air
Uh-huh.
when things are about to like pop off.
Yeah, definitely.
Also,
And,
60
yeah.
seconds is a long time.
6 seconds is it was it was like people were falling over, like pulling, people were swinging, everybody, like things were happening.
Was this Modesto?
I want this was in college,
Okay.
and I don't think I was that drunk, but my friend got into a fight, and there was groups of people kind of converging onto this little thing, or in like the middle of the street, and within like 60 seconds we were at a bar ordering drinks. It wasn't even like like it's not as crazy as it sounds, but like if you were to classify it, you know what I mean, like yeah, it was a brawl. it was kind of wild. Not that I would condone any violence or that I was like actively like looking to hurt anyone. Something happened, and then you're with a lot of people, and if if violence is happening, and you're gonna want to protect your friends,
And you gotta
right?
think, like, it's like the most moment you gotta think fast too.
You got to be ready to react, especially if and there was like women with us too, so we have to like shield them from what's happening too, because they're like freaked out, and there's like a dangerous situation. We don't want any one of our friends getting hurt. So yeah, things like that escalate, but it wasn't like it's just some mischief. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a huge like assault case where we're fucking like pounding on people and just like like really getting people hurt. But 2 people had a scuffle, and then we backed them off, and then everything cooled down from there. So yeah. But it takes a lot to diffuse that level of interaction, especially if it's like 2 big groups, or 2 small groups, whatever.
I'm a SoCal boy. Does San Jose get pretty crazy?
I mean, I can't really speak for it now because it's been so long. When I was there, it's in the middle of downtown, and it's a very small. Generally speaking, if you compare it to other colleges, it's pretty small. It's on like a big 1.5 mile block, and pretty much the whole campus is there. But we're downtown. It's open campus. People can walk in, walk out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a commuter school, so we definitely have had there are definitely fair share of incidents with like people that aren't affiliated with the school.
Did you dorm while you were there?
I dormed for a year, and then I lived at a fraternity house for about 4.
Oh shoot! All right.
4 years.
Forgot about that.
Yeah,
What was
yeah.
that fraternity? You mind me asking?
I don't want to bring it up.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. So, because I just recently came across some like page in San Jose. It was like people just showing the wildlife of San Jose, like people fighting. Or, like you post club, but I'm sure like you even lived in Santa Ana for a little bit too. But I remember a couple years ago in Santa Ana, some girl got beat up to the point where like she died. Like I don't remember that or not.
I try to take that with a grain of salt because things like that happen all around the country all the time, and no matter where you are, you're gonna definitely run into if you're somebody who steps outside more often than not, you're eventually gonna run into something that like some incident or something that happens to crazy shit happens to all of us, I think, and I don't think someone glamorizing that shit is like like to me that's it's whatever. Like it doesn't mean that city is like tainted or something. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that like this is the experience you're gonna have if you come to that city, right? So there are a lot of impoverished cities that aren't doing well that have a lot of beautiful culture there. You know what I mean? So
I've always been like trouble adjacent. Never really gotten in, but I've always been like just. But you're right, like just going out so much, you just happen to be with.
You just things happen. People freak out and people make decisions.
People
usually
grab
bad ones. That's what happens. You stay out late and you drink and you go out and you party and you like only bad things happen at night.
There's like that TV show that says like nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So like by 2 a.m. get your ass in.
Yeah. You should be home by 2 a.m. If you're not, you're doing too much. But I mean, I've had my fair share of not coming back overnight. So.
Who's the lucky lady? I'm just kidding.
Uh-huh.
I'm just playing. Bring an overnight bag with you. I get it.
Yeah, man, I'll pack my toothbrush, dude. Got somewhere to be.
I thought you guys shared a toothbrush. No, I'm just kidding.
He's talking about someone imaginary, Joe.
There's no point to it. I'm just imaginary.
He's not talking about nobody right now. Yeah.
People tell me a story, and I get carried away and I start improvising.
Yeah.
Start adding scenarios to this fictional story.
No, it's fine. No. I just got to make sure that the audience knows. The audience doesn't even know me yet,
Yeah.
So there's no one there.
That's more of like an insight of who I am as a friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were talking about like, because you did move up here with little money and you saved yourself a timeline. I would say that's super impressive. Because you got to be extremely motivated, or maybe not motivated is not the right word, like determined and disciplined, be more like it.
Yeah, I've definitely lost discipline in some areas, but gained it in more areas. So it's kind of like sometimes you trade off certain parts of your life, and you kind of figure things out as you're growing. You kind of figure out what to focus on more. So it took me definitely a long time to really get my feet under me for a while. Definitely a lot of nights just eating dog shit food, like canned food all the time. Not that it's bad or anything, but that I was eating things and I didn't really know how to cook to what I know now. You know what I mean? And so like I eat a lot differently than I used to, for sure.
Is this the field you're gonna stay in? This like forever career field, or is there another field you want to get out of because of?
I mean,
or venture into even.
Right now, I'm in the pharmaceutical industry, but I don't really want to get too deep into that. But yeah, right now for the foreseeable future, for sure, 100%, stay with it. Definitely a great company so far. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can see myself retiring here for sure.
One weird thing that I noticed you're into that I think my brother's into in some other way is just based off the camo T-shirt. You enjoy hunting.
It's funny. I didn't there's like 100 shirts in my closet, and I just I want to wear this one today. And then Quang shows up and is like, yo, you want to do a podcast? And yeah, I do go hunting, but this is just a coincidence. I do have a hunting weekend this weekend that I'm going to go do as well.
Where are you going?
It is dove season, which means that dove season is about 2 weeks in September, and I don't know, like a month or something towards the end of the season. And but what I mean by my season is there's like a time period where they're allowed to be hunted, right? And for the rest of the year, they're not allowed to be hunted. So to be in season is kind of the same. It means that this is the best time that biologists of the state or the state biologists have decided is the best time to have a season, which is usually fall. So most hunting in general usually happens in the fall, usually because of
the winter's gonna kill the midways or what?
No.
No. I thought it was just a managed population.
No. It's like yeah. Sometimes it's like during mating seasons. It's it's when they're there's like they're most fertile. It's like how you do the best hunting and stuff. And they just set like a specific time for each season. So I don't know exactly all of it, and there's like a ton of different animals that it's very well regulated. So if you don't know anything about hunting is very well regulated. It goes very, very deep. You have to, with a fishing license, you could just go online and buy it, and it comes in the mail, or you get it printed or whatever. But if you want like a hunting license, you have to take a class for it. There's like all these things you have to learn, and you have to figure out like where you're allowed to go out and where you're allowed to shoot your gun, and where you're allowed to like take an animal and harvest the meat. So there's a lot that goes into it for sure.
Where's the place? Because I know that doesn't sound like a Southern California thing. That sounds like
there are actually a lot of places in Southern California where you can hunt 100%. It's just that people aren't as into it as Northern California. Northern California has a lot more country in terms of like farm and agriculture lands. So a lot of people are living in rural areas, so they're going to be a little bit more acclimated to like wildlife areas, especially if they're like always on like farms and ranches and stuff. So they're gonna have a lot more. There's a lot more outdoorsy stuff in NorCal for sure, and better hunting.
Do you need a gun license to hunt guns, or is that like kind of
a hunting license allows you to buy a long gun, so a rifle or a shotgun, a long gun. You can't buy a handgun with it, but I mean but it's very easy to get a regular license. You can get a gun, if you're 18. But for a hunting license, you have to take a class, and then that already shows that you took a safety course. It says more about it. So, but yeah, but if you want your like a sidearm, like a handgun, you have to go through a different licensing.
So what do you do when you hunt? Do you just like bring it back home and barbecue, like defeather,
Yeah. You gotta process it, and I figured this out because have you ever like have you ever bought a chicken whole? Just
Okay.
like, yeah, have you ever bought one before?
Live or dead?
Just like one at the store that's like already been feathered and just like a
Oh,
just
yeah,
like a
yeah.
regular like a whole chicken with like but it's like all together. It hasn't been cut apart into like
Oh,
thighs and
actually,
wings
no,
and stuff like
I
that,
haven't.
right? And so like if you can butcher that, right, then that's like that's the second half of hunting. You have to be able to process this and like cut it into cut it into like its thigh and its separate breast and debone it and stuff like that. If you want to be a good hunter, you got to figure that shit out eventually. So basically I started doing that, and I got into hunting because of food. So yeah, basically, even though I still hunt animals, even if I know that they're not even gonna taste that good. It's not gonna be like some amazing chicken or whatever. Like I had rabbit recently. Like I caught my first rabbit after like a year and a half of doing it, and I ate it. It was chewy as shit. Like it was a great shot, and like I was so happy when I got it, and like I took a pictures, and I was like stoked on it. But like when I ate it, I was like, oh, it's whatever.
Who got you into this?
Nobody. Johnny Tran got himself into this shit, dog. I don't know why I keep referring to myself in the first one. I don't normally do this.
Johnny Tran.
I don't normally do this, but yeah, I got into hunting because I would see chefs and stuff. I would see chefs go out and eat a wild pig, or they'd go out and they'd fish. Right. I'm not even into fishing that much, but it's cool to see people go out and do fish some cool stuff that I don't know about. And then I've also gone crabbing with my brother. Like we used to go crabbing and stuff. Like me and you, at Santa Barbara, right?
Go to a pier and just put the net down and crabs climb into the net.
Yeah, and just hang out. If you haven't gone crabbing, you should. It's very chill right off the pier. You don't need a fishing license to do it if you're doing it off of a pier. Anyways, but I've always been into collecting food, and then I got into for a while. I thought about doing just wanted to get outside more, but hiking was just never my thing. And then I feel like so hiking was never my thing, but I thought like I've always talked about it, and I've known about it. I know it's a thing. And then I saw an ad for the class that you need to take, the 8-hour class I was mentioning, right? And I saw an ad for it, and I said, all right, well, it's $25. But let me just read it, and then I'll get my hunting license and I'll figure it out, And I read it, and then it got deep, and then you just like fall into this huge trap. So if anyone ever wants to say that they want to go hunting, it's really, if you do that class, I think that'll get you into it. You know what I mean?
Where's that class at?
It's online. Every state has it. It's a state agency, so they have to like they report that you've done it or not.
Okay.
And then that's the only way to actually purchase a license. Right, so then you have an identifier and stuff. And,
I thought it was like a physical class, like a driving class.
They used to make you do that. You would have to do like a 1 full day of training, and they would make you take a test at the end and do like a 4-hour in person. But COVID made it so easier to get your license because they still need people to make money, right? They need people to buy licenses. They need people to do that stuff because that goes all to conservation as well.
Okay. Where did you go to hunt that rabbit, and where are you going next week?
So I usually go to, there's like these lands that is called BLM, Bureau of Land Management, and then like
not the other BLM.
Yeah, not the other BLM. Yeah. So Bureau of Land Management, and then there's also National Forest. So I've gone to dozens of forests, Cleveland National Forest, and I'm being very vague, but if you're like a hunter, you have to like find out what their habitat is. You have to find out what kind of animal you're looking for. There's like all this shit you have to do to deal with where you're gonna go. And I used to like look for a rabbit during rabbit season. I would like climb on mountains, and I would like go on the side of hills and be all dangerous and stuff. And I was like, this is dumb. This is hella dangerous. Like, why am I doing this for a little rabbit? So I would never do that again. But now I go to places where I find that are flatter land, has more open area. So I'm not like trudging up a hill. I'm not doing all this stuff. I used to carry like huge bags of equipment with me, but I'd only be out for like 2 hours. So it's like, like now I just bring water and ammo.
You going by yourself?
This weekend, I'm going with one of my friends. It's with dove season. I have a couple hunting partners that I go with. People that,
I forgot you said doves earlier. I was still thinking like deer.
I am going deer hunting this season, but it's not season yet. So like this upcoming couple months, I'm going to be doing that. Yeah.
Is it different seasons for different animals or different
Every
places?
every animal has different seasons and including places. So some deer are available in some parts of the states. It's very complicated. Yeah.
Okay.
If I get into it, it'll just start confusing people.
Well, that's cool. Feel free to just talk about whatever. Maybe I'll learn about it too.
Yeah. No. It's cool. It's just deer are very well regulated. You have to get it in like a certain zone, and it has to be a certain size with the antlers and stuff. And there's like a whole bunch of regulations on top of that. So I mean, I probably take it more seriously than a lot of like normalized hunters who have done it in their family and kind of know the ins and outs. But as a new hunter, I just know the rules, and I've only been out by myself or with like one or two other people. So I'm still pretty new at it, for sure. Even though I've like read a lot about it and try to figure out myself, because it's just me teaching myself. But luckily, I have a couple friends that I see once in a while that every time I go hunting with them, it's like a good experience, you know. So, and a lot of times they're pretty new at it too. You know what I mean? A couple years is still pretty new hunter, because I haven't got like a big game. I've never caught a deer. I've never caught like a bear. Right? Like you could go bear hunting too. That's the thing.
Why would people hunt bear? Do people eat bears?
Yeah. So. Yeah, bears were actually a huge part of how America started moving west, because they used to sell it as a really big commodity. Bear fat and bear hides. They used to sell that and pelts. So they used to be worth a lot of money. And now they're not as much, because it kind of got phased into I believe it got kind of phased into like a bear became a very symbolic part of American culture, so they kind of like cartoonized, like made it into like a cartoon. Like you have like stuffed teddy bears and all this other stuff. So then
it's like hunting a bald eagle.
So now it's kind of frowned upon. But it is interesting that it is interesting just in general, because see, like even when I said bear to you, you're like, whoa, you can hunt one of those? Like, why would you do that? Well, it's like, well, they have beautiful hides. They also have great meat as well. So then and they're not and in some places they are overpopulated. So you got to control the bear population, otherwise they'll start leaking into our society, and that's what happens in like other big states.
Like where a bear just hops in someone's backyard.
Yeah, like bears.
In their pool.
Like bears are like if a bear like attacks a dog, they'll put it down. Or if a bear like attacks like your chicken coop or your dogs or whatever animals you have outside, then yeah, they'll tell the wildlife people, and they'll come and sometimes they take it out. It depends on the situation. But yeah. But if it's a cub or something like that, then they'll probably just put it into like some rehab program or whatever. Yeah.
Is your buddies the friends you met through college, high school, or through hunting?
Through college, yeah. So we talked about it. So me and him, we actually talked about it a lot in college, and then, I just got into it just because I got into it. I didn't know it. I honestly forgot, and then we actually like reconnected because of it. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
You have such an interesting life. Like, I'm serious. Like I would like my brother invite me fishing, but I'm like, I'll go to hang out, but I wouldn't want to fish. But my entire family loves fishing.
Yeah.
They'll go on a boat for like. I'll spend at most half a day to one full day, but they'll be like, all right, let's go to the sea for like 3 to 4 days sometimes. That's like the crazy scenarios, but
yeah.
But also,
no, people are really into it, and it is a lifestyle for a lot of people, especially the people that like what you're talking about, how they go deep sea fishing, right? They're like out there like overnight, catching like big tuna or whatever, like yellowtail and all this extra stuff. It's awesome, dude. Yeah, no, I think it's sick too. I used to fish in like lakes and streams and in East Bay and stuff like that, and we used to catch like a whole bunch of different types of striped bass, or I don't know if it was actually striped bass now that I think about it, but like a lot of bluegills and hopefully catfish from here and there or whatever. Yeah,
I hear there's buffaloes on Catalina Island. Right?
Yeah, something about that.
I don't know if they're huntable or not huntable.
I believe there is. I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head. I've looked at it though. I don't remember the answer. I've actually looked up like hunting Catalina, but
I don't know how they got. To be honest, I don't have no idea how they bring a buffalo on an island like that.
Well, a lot of animals in America are like, a lot of times they're transported and stuff to conserve them, and like in like non-native species, right? They'll like of goats and rams and like random things. They'll put them in like random places in America, and then they just drive there.
I have no idea.
Yeah. The wildlife population is, like that's what happens with like exploding. For one example, right? Like we have like the Asian carp problem, which is like
Asian what problem?
Like like yellow goldfish, right?
Oh, carp.
Yeah, carp.
Okay.
Yeah, so like like people take that and they release it into like a lake. Well, if it has no natural predators, it just like fucks up the environment and they reproduce like shit, So then, they reproduce and they overtake and they become an invasive species, right? So that's like one type of thing where an animal gets moved, right? Hippos, right? Like
I don't know.
real fucking funny to think about hippos.
Tell me about hippos.
So, I mean, don't quote me on a lot of this stuff, guys. This is, like go out there and do your own research, but like this is a very common problem. You can look that shit up. But hippos, apparently, I don't know the exact location, but they weren't native to where Pablo Escobar was.
Mexico? Or was that
Colombia? I think,
Colombia?
right? Yeah, right. So, I believe this is what I remember reading. I remember that hippos are not native to that area, but he liked them so much, so he brought them there, and now there is like a hippo sanctuary. I feel like it's not Colombia. I feel like it's like some other country in that in a general region, but there's a place where hippos don't belong, and now they have no predators and they're just fucking ferocious, and now they're like a symbol. I feel like it is Pablo Escobar, but it's one of like the gangsters that had a palace somewhere, and basically he shipped hippos over, but that's but this is a very common story. Hippos are not like the prime example. I bet dozens if not hundreds of examples of people moving animals over across continents.
I don't even know where most animals are. When you said hippos, I automatically thought like Africa. Every animal's in Africa.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just crazy to think about. Yeah.
You ever heard about the cats in Peru for the cat festival?
I'd love to go to that. I fucking love cats. So.
Oh man. I hope we don't go down too much of a crazy rabbit hole or nothing, but I think they initially brought cats to take care of the rat problem.
Uh-huh.
And then I think cats just overpopulated the place to the point where
they just roam freely now?
No, I'm about to say something crazy, but I'm not even sure if it's true, but I think people eat cats over there.
Yeah, eating cat is I've heard many cultures do that for sure. Yeah. But I don't think that's like a common staple though. I've never heard I've never heard any culture to be like, yeah, I can't wait to have cat. Like, no, I don't hear that. I hear that people eat it sometimes, but I would never eat my cat.
Here's stories, but
I don't have a cat.
We're both Vietnamese, so the obvious thing.
What's obvious?
People assume I don't even know where the stereotype came up, where Asian people eat dogs.
Yeah.
But I think, I think all cultures around the world, we've established that dogs are like man's best friend. They help farm or just compassion, just for friendship and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think we both visit Vietnam, and I've never seen anyone offer on the street like a street vendor or a restaurant. I've never seen it. Have you?
No, they definitely serve it still.
Really?
It is not. I had a cousin, and on Facebook he added me, and then one time I saw he had a picture of a roasted dog, right?
Shit.
And I've seen whole roasted pig, but I've never seen whole roasted dog, and it was pretty wild. And then it was just a lot of comments under it were like, "Yum, can't wait," looks great, and in Vietnamese, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I don't think I can follow this guy." But honestly, it is a reality. You know what I mean? People eat.
It doesn't seem common though. Even in Asian culture,
it
doesn't seem common.
I mean, it's funny. You see a lot of birds out there, but you don't see a chicken as a bird. You know what I mean? You don't see you don't feel the same way with that animal for some reason, for whatever reason.
Okay.
And I think people are attached to the animal, and then they kind of forget what they eat. Yeah, and but I'm not saying you should go out and eat dog. I don't like it. Right? That's not cool on my part. I definitely don't want it.
I say in America, that's not cool.
Yeah, but it's actually, I'll give you a fun fact, Koang. It's funny. In America, it is not illegal to eat dog.
Is it illegal to eat just endangered animals only?
I mean, no. Well, yeah, because that means you're killing the endangered animal. But the only illegal meat that is more well known in terms of general animals is horse meat. Horse meat is illegal in America.
Do you know the reason, or?
No, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. Horse meat is illegal. Dog meat, not illegal. Fun fact for you.
I've always heard. Do you know what Tongans are?
Tongans?
From Tonga. It's like an island, kind of like near Samoa. But I hear like Tongan people eat horse.
I've heard other cultures do that too, but it's definitely not common for sure. Or I mean, you know, I don't know anything. No.
Yeah, I don't know much either. So I think some Samoan dude made a joke about it once, and I was like, oh, explain the context, explain the joke. All right, cool, I get it. But like it's.
I mean, there is a joke, right? It's like, damn, I could eat a whole horse. Right?
You know, it's like I forgot what the joke was. It's so long ago.
Yeah.
But like the only person in my family that tried it, the doggies is
The doggies. I don't like the way we're talking about it.
I don't know, but it's just like the uncle's having. My uncle's born in the '60s, so this had happened like maybe in the '60s or early '70s. But he was telling me like some guy down the street just cooking barbecue, telling him it was pork and tricked him into eating it because he didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the basis of that. But I think. Okay, I heard this on somewhere else too, but like on the East Coast, kind of completely off topic too. Like, you know, when you go to a butcher, you usually get like cows or chicken or whatnot. Mm-hmm. But through a butcher, you can order exotic animals. Yeah. Because they know where to get meat. They're like, oh, you want a monkey? You want a pet monkey? Get a pet monkey.
Oh, I was not thinking about that at all.
What
no.
Were you thinking, like,
no.
Like lamb or deer or something? Or?
No, you can like get. You theoretically could get those, because what you could do is you can have them place an order, right? They're the ones talking to the farms. They're actually going. Okay. You know, they send their people out there, right? They send their workers out there to go there and go to a farm, right? Sometimes it depends on who's buying it, right? And especially if you're trying to get like high quality farmed meat, then you can buy from small farmers. Now, my friend actually buys. She went in. And bought half a cow with somebody else. So basically what that means is like like
chopped at the waist or like
No. So what happens is you skin the cow, right? And if you split their spine down the middle, right? You know, like vertically,
okay.
Like then you have one whole side of the meat, right? You have one leg, you have one chest, one primary everything, arm, and then one arm, right? Or like front half and back half, but like one half of it. And then so the other person would get the other half. And yeah, technically it's supposed to be like the exact pounds of meat, but you would be buying it for cheaper, right? You get all the cuts a lot cheaper technically, right? But then you have to have somewhere to store that. You know, you have to pay a large sum of money earlier, right? You know, most people want to pay it just like for small pieces of meat every time, right? You don't want a whole cow in your fridge.
So that's probably what supermarkets do then, right? Supermarket gets the whole cow.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then they chop it down and then they sell it to.
Yeah, for however much prices, depending on where they're getting them, you know. And of course would increase it, but you know, if you're buying it straight from the person and they're gonna cut it up for you anyways, right?
There's a lot of middlemen out of the way.
It's a lot of middlemen out of the way, and then there's not a corporation taking all the fees, right? You're paying yourself in those fees, and I eventually will probably start doing that too, but I don't really have a fridge right now to deal with all that space, and hopefully I catch a deer versus having to buy a half a cow.
Next year for your birthday.
Yeah.
Let's just.
I
get like a cow and then we just like go grill or smoke or something.
Dude, it would be too much, dude. It would be too much for sure.
But also have like a party where everyone's like, "Hey, do not eat."
Dude, it'd have to be like a week long party, bro. There's so much, yeah.
But you would all also probably like that would be your meal prep for the rest of the week.
For the dude, I mean, it's supposed to be like 6 months worth of food, you know, like
really?
You know what I mean? Like it's like like you're buying half a fucking cow, so like there's hella meat. There's like and it depends on how big the cow is too, you know. So there's a ton of meat, dude.
Is there?
I mean, it depends on how you portion it out and you know all this other shit. But like, yeah, like, I mean, it's like a full table full of meat. You know what I mean? You know, you're only eating small chunks of it at a time. So you could ration it out, technically.
I don't know what Wagyu is. Is it a part of a cow?
Wagyu is just like where the cow comes from. So like meaning that it comes from like a Japanese one that they feed it beer and shit and massage tissues and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's just like a higher quality meat usually.
Okay, because I always thought it was
how they're farmed and you know how they're farmed and how they're raised and how they're brought up. All that stuff goes into like with the meat quality, which is usually really fatty, versus like.
I've never had it, but I always thought it was like a part of the cow, like.
Chuck
or the belly or the
Wagyu just means that it's like it's just like the type of meat it is, like how the type of grade that they give it, you know. It's just like a different cow that they raise in a different part of the world usually, you know.
All right.
But now I feel like it's synonymous with being premium because it's just like the best premium meats that you can buy because they're just so fatty. But I believe it originated in Japan. Yeah.
How much did a cow cost, or half a cow cost?
I remember it was like, I don't know, 3,000 maybe.
3,000?
Yeah, 3,000.
That's a lot of meat.
I forgot. I can look it up right now.
That's like a small used vehicle.
Yeah, well, like you need to buy a second fridge to be able to put it in your thing, you know. Yeah, I don't have it on me, but
it's all good.
Yeah.
Is there any other major topics you want to bring up or like discuss? Or we can always do a part 2 next time too.
I don't know, man. You tell me, man. You brought me on in here. You know, you want to ask. You know, are you happy with the content you've received today? You know.
I mean, like, yeah, because I don't know. To be honest, my brother is a fisher. He likes hiking and fishing. Like, he'll go spear fishing. Like, he'll go. Like,
that's the next level stuff for
like
sure.
When people tell me, like, hey, you want to go camping? I would just want to hop in a car, drive to a fire pit, maybe drink one hike, grill some stuff, and then go home, and like maybe use the restroom and swim in a lake.
Yeah,
but he's more crazy. He'll bring like a 50-pound backpack, spear fishing, bring a knife, and hunt for his food. That's his like camping.
Yeah, no, and that's what I want to do. You know that. I mean that is hunting, and if there's one thing I could link back to hunting, the funniest thing that I think I explained to a lot of people. Did you ever play on a Game Boy? You know, like the Pokemon games.
Yeah.
You know how you have like all you do is you walk around in a grass area, right? And then you run into a Pokemon, and then you gotta fight it, and then that's how you catch animals, right? That's what hunting is. You fucking walk around the woods. You walking in circles. Sometimes if you're looking for birds, you can see them, but they're like walking around you. So you know there's birds there, right? So you're just walking around waiting for one to pop up and give you a shot, right? So that's what dub season is. But literally, if you think about that, like that's what Pokemon was. You walked around the grass and shit, and then the moment that an animal popped up, that's when you would take your chance to catch it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we kind of like discussed your background a little bit, where you came from, college, a little bit after, and like a little work life, and then your hobby, which is a pretty.
It's one of my hobbies. Yeah.
Which is a pretty good chunk of your life. Is there anything you want to plug? Like, what's your IG, so people can follow you?
It's my IG. That's funny. Johnny Tranderson. You know, like Anderson, but Tranderson. Yeah.
Oh, and he's no relation to the guy in Fast and the Furious 1.
No relation.
Every time I see Johnny Tran, I just want like quote movie lines from specifically his.
Yeah,
line.
I'm a movie buff. I definitely love movies, honestly.
Like, you go to my house, disrespect my family. I forgot the exact line, but he's like the one Asian guy.
Toretto.
And we kind of live near where they filmed part of the first one, the T&K food one.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Put down like the Vietnamese area.
Yeah.
Do you want to plug your other thing with your boy Daniel?
No, not really.
Okay.
No, that's an old podcast. That's an old podcast that I used to do. No need to plug it now, but no, I will. I do have a new podcast coming. You know, of my own that me and my friend have been developing, but that's still honestly in the works. And you know, we've been talking about it for a couple weeks, and we really got some good business going on. So,
do you want to give any more details of what it's kind of generally about, or who it's with, or you want to hold on to that information too?
No, I'm gonna hold on to that information because again, you know, it's not ready. We still got a couple of trial runs to do, and you know, we're still working on kind of our central theme and stuff. So, and right now we don't have a name. It's still unnamed. We haven't found what we want to go by yet. So there's still a lot of work to be done. We just kind of have a very good idea of what we want the show to be like.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening to me and Johnny. You made it this far. You made it a very long
way. Thank you guys for watching. You know, go check out Quang's other stuff. I'm sure he's got some good conversation with a lot of good folks.
And I am unsure about a lot of things I say, so let's just file this under fiction. If this is a library, let's file this under fiction, and everything's allegedly, everything's may or may not be true. This is for the storytelling purposes.
Yeah, but you know, but like we were vague about things, and you know, nothing I said here, you know, take it with a grain of salt. You know, I'm not your hero. You should be your hero.
PETA and FEMA, don't be mad at us. We're just talking. I'm not trying to encourage nothing crazy.
If you want to hunt, go get a license. Go read. Go get yourself educated. It's not a whole bunch of people walking around the woods just shotgunning beers and alcohol. You know, people are good, smart people, decent people doing it. You know.
And for your information, I do walk dogs. I do love dogs. Dogs is my best friend. Is my.
Mm-hmm.
All right then.
All right. Peace out, guys.
Peace out, everybody.